I don't know if Anita's there. I'll just start welcoming, and then when she comes, I can give to her. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. May I know who are on the call today?
Hare Krishna, Preeti. Danvat pranams. This is Sukha Sagari. Danvat pranams to all devotees. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Sukha Sagari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining us and giving us your most valuable association on the call.
Waits to be seen, I guess.
Huh?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Yeah, thank you, Neetu Mataji, for joining us. Hare Krishna, welcome to the conference call. Thank you so much. Anita Mataji, you want to take over?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah, okay, Mataji.
Krishna Anita Mataji.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from College Station, Texas. Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna Lasini Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and covering the first few minutes.
No problem.
Who recited today Bhagavad Gita verse?
Oh, Bhagavad Gita is over. You will have to read Prabhupada quote in a few minutes after welcoming everybody.
No, Mataji, I'm just asking who recited. Just
Me.
to thank. Okay, thank you so much, Mataji, Krishna, for recitation of Bhagavad Gita verse.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Anyone else who would like to introduce themselves? Hare Krishna. So I think we can move on to the next session. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome all of you to this Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. So today we will be moving on to our next session, the Bhagavat, which will be given by Her Grace, Sukha Sagari Mataji. So before moving on to the session, I would like to read the Prabhupada's quote for today. On 3rd October, he has written, "For me, either live or die, I don't mind. But if you are trying for my life, try it very seriously. That is my formula. No negligence." Okay, so it's from Vrindavan, October 3, 1977. Prabhupada has written this. So Hare Krishna. So we have our speaker today on the call. Hare Krishna, Sukha Sagari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving us your valuable time and association. And dear devotees, today Mataji will be taking from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Khanda, chapter 15, verses from 53 to 58. Hare Krishna. Mataji, so we wish you can start from some nice bhajan, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Will it be okay to do the bhajan at the end or the beginning, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, as you wish. Anyways, we want the bhajan, that is all.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Krishna willing, we can do that. And thank you so much, Mataji, for the kind introduction. And I wish to thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. It's really been a long time. And sorry, I'm trying to see the screen.
Oh, again, you co-host right here.
Yeah, sorry. See this. I know why that screen alone is not showing up, but it's okay. Can you see now the screen? The Chaitanya Bhagavata screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure I'm sharing the right thing.
Yes, Mataji, you can see.
Yeah, it's been so long and I've been very rusty. Like I could attend few classes, but not all the classes like that. So please bear with me if I make any mistakes. Please do feel free to stop me and correct me right then and there. So let's do the invocation prayers first and then we will move on. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय गुरु महाराज की जय। ओके Yeah. So we are continuing with chapter 15, verse 53, and hopefully we can cover until verses 58. And this chapter is titled, as we can see, Descriptions of Madhavananda's Realization. So previously, we have seen that how these two Brahmanas, though they were great sinners, Jagai and Madhai were delivered, and they came under the guidance of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself and Lord Nityananda. And so mercifully, they have been guiding them in their devotional service. And this chapter discusses how they executed their devotional service under the guidance of the Lord himself. And particularly, we see that in the past few verses, we are seeing how Madhai is so repentant for his sinful behavior, actually offensive behavior, because he made an offense to Lord Nityananda, and how he's trying to make up for it, or how he's trying to actually repent for it and atone for it. So this chapter, if we look at the introduction, we see that in the beginning, where there's a summary of the chapter, it mentions that this chapter discusses the devotional service. Sorry, let me try to pause this. Yeah, let me share again. So this chapter discusses the cultivation of devotional service, like how these two, Jagai and Madai, cultivated their devotional service under the guidance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, like that. So first, we see that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed that they should be chanting 200,000 names every day, like that. And they diligently took to it, and they were following that. And but then still there is this feeling of regret and remorse in Madhai, and he approaches Lord Nityananda and he offers wonderful prayers to Lord Nityananda in glorification of Lord Nityananda. So that's what we've been seeing, so far. I just thought we'll take some moments to actually discuss what this cultivation of devotional service actually means. So Srila Prabhupada, he describes in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, this book is basically an excerpt from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Lord Chaitanya himself personally he instructs Sri Rupa Goswami and also Sri Sanatana Goswami on the science of devotion. And as we all know, Sri Rupa Goswami is our Acharya for practical devotional service. His books, The Nectar of Instruction and The Nectar of Devotion, are our practical guides like that as to how we can, cultivate devotional service, how we can cultivate devotion. Everything is very clearly described in these two books, and it's no, I'm surprised that we do these two. We take up study of these two books as part of our Bhakti Shastri. So we understand in what mood and how we should actually be doing devotional service. So just, taking a few excerpts from this, where Srila Prabhupada describes this cultivation of devotional service from in the TLC, I just would like to read. There are 3 stages of devotional service. The first is the beginning stage of cultivation. The second is the realization of service. And the third, the supreme stage, is the attainment of love of Godhead. Then he goes on to say there are 9 different methods of cultivating devotional service, such as hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. And all these processes are employed in the first stage. The first stage is the beginning stage of cultivation. If one is engaged in chanting and hearing with devotion and faith, his material misgivings gradually become vanquished. So slowly we come to that stage of anartha nivritti. As his faith and devotional service gradually increases, he becomes assured of a higher perfectional position. In this way, one can become firmly fixed in devotion, increase his taste for it, become attached, and feel ecstasy. So these are the second stages where, after fixing, after nishtha, ruchi, asakti, like that, bhava, prema, like that it goes. So this ecstasy occurs in the preliminary stage of love of Godhead. Attainment of ecstasy is produced by execution of devotion service. When one continues the process of hearing and chanting, attachment grows and assumes the name of love of Godhead. So that is the process when we reach the stage of nishtha and we are actually doing the devotional service with attachment, and that is the process. The second stage, when one attains the third stage of transcendental love of God, there occurs further developments known as transcendental affection, emotion, ecstasy, and extreme and intense attachment. These are technically known by terms raga, anuraga, bhava, and mahabhava. The progress from one stage to another can be compared to the thickening of sugar candy juice. In the first stage, sugar candy juice is like a thin liquid. When by evaporation it becomes thicker and thicker, it turns into molasses. Finally, it turns into granules and becomes sugar, rock candy, and so on. Just as liquid sugar progresses from one stage to another, similarly, transcendental love for the Supreme Lord develops by stages. When one actually becomes situated on the transcendental platform, he becomes steady. Unless one is so situated, his position may not be steady and he may fall down. When one is actually situated transcendently, there's no fear of falling down. This stage of understanding is technically called sthaya bhava. And then he also discusses the various other stages, like beyond the sthaya bhava, vibhava, anubhava, and all those stages. But we will not go into the details of those. That is, I think, a subject matter for a whole series of classes. So skipping those things. So this exchange in loving reciprocation between the lover and beloved is generally called Krishna Bhakti Rasa. It should be noted that the transcendental loving exchanges stand on the steadfast position of sthaya bhava. The basic principle of vibhava, sthaya bhava, and all other activities are auxiliary for the development of transcendental love. So this is like the highest phase. So this chapter in essence describes, like, it touches upon, mostly like the second phase, where we saw, like in the previous chapters, trying to draw some context from the previous chapters. We saw in chapter 13 how Madhya had actually struck Lord Nityananda with the piece of the pot there, and Lord Nityananda started bleeding profusely. And when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he heard about this, immediately he invoked his Sudarshan Chakra. because he was bleeding so profusely, and this actually angered Lord Nityananda, that how could somebody do this to Lord Nityananda. So at that point, Lord Nityananda told, do not curse Jagai. Actually, he's the one who saved me. He was the one who actually stopped Madhya from further harming me, further hurting me. So you need to be compassionate to him. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he hears this, he gets very happy with Jagai, and immediately he gives him the love of Godhead. We saw that he puts his foot on his chest and blesses him with the love of Godhead. So just by the touch of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the love of Godhead is actually, it blossoms in the heart of Jagai. But at this time when Madhya is watching, and he's like, how come Jagai is getting it? It's described in that chapter that Jagai and Madhya are like one soul and two bodies. So he's like, he is equally a sinner and I'm a sinner. So why is he getting love of Godhead and I'm not getting anything? So at that point, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he's a sinner, no doubt, and you're a sinner, no doubt. But then you have committed an aparadh. So for an aparadh, I cannot forgive you. The only way of getting forgiveness or getting atonement for Vaishnava aparadh is to go and fall at the feet of the Vaishnava and beg for their mercy, like that. So there is absolutely no other way that aparadh can be forgiven. Only the devotee to whom you have committed the aparadh, if they agree and they forgive you, it's forgiven. Otherwise, it just stays on. So at that point, he goes and falls at the feet of Lord Nityananda. We also see that there are so many examples, in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, of when once Mother Shachi, she had actually committed some offense against against Advaita Acharya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that she has to somehow fall at his feet and beg for his mercy. So when Mother Shachi, she approached Advaita Acharya and said that, I'm sorry for my offenses and uh, please forgive me, like that. But Advaita Acharya, he goes into a mood of ecstasy where he tries to glorify Mother Shachi and her position as the mother of the Lord. It's not a ordinary position. And then he's like, how you're the mother of the Lord himself and you're asking for forgiveness. And he kind of goes into a trance and then he faints and falls there. At that time, Mother Shachi doesn't know what should be done. And then Lord Chaitanya says that he's still not forgiven you. You have to ask for forgiveness. And then Mother Shachi is lost. She doesn't know what to do because Advaita Acharya faints in the mood of ecstasy, thinking of Mother Shachi as, like the mother of the Lord himself, like that. So then he says that at least get the dust of the lotus feet of the devotee. That will help you absolve of your aparadh. So immediately she gets some dust of Advaita Acharya, and that's how she is able to get over the Vaishnava aparadh. So, so it is in this context, also Parikshit Maharaj, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, towards the end of Canto 5, we see that there's a big description of hellish planets and things like that. So in the beginning of Canto 6, the canto that deals with the biography or the life of Ajamila, we see that Parikshit Maharaj also expresses such questions, as to what can a person do to escape from these hellish planets? I mean, what is the method of absolving one of their own sins and things like that? And in fact, Parikshit Maharaj, he condemns this process of external atonement, where a person is punished for some crime they do. And he says that just getting punished for a crime does not, take away the propensity to commit the crime again in their heart. So that propensity always is there. So that's not an actual form of atonement. There has to be something better. That's how he questioned Shukadeva Goswami. I thought we can also, because this, we see how in this later few verses also we'll see how Madhya is actually glorifying Nityananda Prabhu. And that is also one more way of atonement, is to glorify the devotee you have actually done aparadha against. So these are very, very practical lessons of how we should deal with Vaishnava aparadha. It is so severe in its nature that chanting will not be sufficient. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. So I will just share that screen, and maybe we will read from there what Srila Prabhupada has to say regarding this. Sorry, like my sharing. It was here. So if anybody is inspired to read, it'll help me. Thank you so much. If anybody would like to read, please. From here. Yeah, sure.
Srimad Bhagavatam 6:1-9 to 10, Parikshit Maharaj placed a number of intelligent questions before Shukadeva Goswami. One of these questions was, why do people undergo atonement if they cannot control their senses? For instance, a thief may know perfectly well that he may be arrested for his stealing, and he may actually even see a thief arrested by the police. Yet he continues to steal. Experience is gathered by hearing and seeing. One who is less intelligent gathers experience by seeing, and one who is more intelligent gathers experience by hearing. When an intelligent person hears from the law books and shastras or scriptures that stealing is not good, and hears that a thief is punished when arrested, he refrains from theft. A less intelligent person may first have to be arrested and punished for stealing to learn to stop stealing. However, a rascal, foolish man may have the experience of both hearing and seeing and may even be punished, but still he continues to steal. Even if such person atones and is punished by the government, he will again commit theft as soon as he comes out of jail. If punishment in jail is considered atonement, what is the benefit of such atonement? Thus, Parikshit Maharaj inquired.
We'll skip the Sanskrit.
Mataji, you want to read the verse or?
Yeah, we'll skip the Sanskrit, Mataji.
He compared, we have to read this one?
Yes, Mataji.
He compared atonement to an elephant's bathing. The elephant may take a very nice bath in the river, but as soon as it comes out onto the bank, it throws dirt all over its body. What then is the value of its bathing? Similarly, many spiritual practitioners chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and at the same time commit many forbidden things, thinking that their chanting will contract their offenses. Of the 10 types of offenses one can commit while chanting the holy name of the Lord, this offense is called Namno Balaryasyahi Papa Buddhihi. Committing sinful activities on the strength of the chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
We will just take a pause here for a minute. Yeah, this I thought is of a lot of importance, right? Many spiritual practitioners, this is at a very practical level, speaking for ourselves, or at least myself, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and at the same time commit many forbidden things, thinking that their chanting will counteract their offenses. So Prabhupada actually describes, even in the Bhagavad Gita, when discussing that Neha Bhikramana Shosti verse, that, we may commit some aparad unknowingly or by accident like that. But then once we know that and, we ask for forgiveness for it and do some atonement for it. But if we again commit that is no longer a sin, it becomes an aparad. So if we are going to be committing more and more offenses repeatedly, like Prabhupada clearly says that this is, this is forbidden. Of the 10 types of offenses one can commit while chanting the holy name, the Namno Baladyasya Papa Buddhihi. This is completely forbidden. So Prabhupada says then this becomes aparad. Then it does not remain a sin any longer. It becomes an aparad. And once you do aparad, the only way is, like Prabhupada mentions, not only here, in so many places in our scriptures, that we need to just fall at the feet of the devotee and beg for forgiveness. The name cannot absolve of Vaishnava aparad. So that's what our acharyas say. Towards the end, I will also share a video by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. it's a 2.5-minute video where a devotee asks, like, how do we get over this Vaishnava aparadha? So he actually offers 2 or 3 ways which can be, which we can follow to actually absolve us of this Vaishnava aparadha, because just the chanting and devotional service may not help in case of Vaishnava aparadha. Like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says here, you have to go and fall at the feet of the devotee and beg for forgiveness. So, and if it's not possible to do, the next step is like, taking the dust of their lotus feet. So there are some ways. And then Jepta Kamaraj also mentions another way by which we can get rid of Vaishnava aparadha. So this, is something, if we are not able to approach a devotee and, ask for forgiveness, or not able to get the dust of their feet like that. So there's one more way, which Jayapataka Maharaj actually emphasizes, that we can get rid of Vaishnava aparadha. So at least we should have some backup plans, because maybe knowingly or unknowingly, this could happen when we are dealing with devotees, and we need to be so careful about this, because chanting alone will not help. That's what Prabhupada is trying to convey here. Anita Mataji, do you want to continue, or if you're tired, I can read, whatever helps.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hi, Krishna.
So from where I should start? Similarly, certain Christians go to church to confess their sins, thinking that confessing their sins before a priest and performing some penance will relieve them from the results of their weekly sins. As soon as Saturday is over and Sunday comes, they again begin their sinful activities, expecting to be forgiven the next Saturday. This kind of prashchitta or atonement is condemned by Parikshit Maharaj, the most intelligent king of his time. Shukadeva Goswami, equally intelligent as befitting the spiritual master of Maharaja Parikshit, answered the king and confirmed that his statement concerning atonement was correct. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. Simple activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. Okay. Thus, real prashchitta, atonement, is the awakening of a dormant Krishna consciousness. Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this, there is a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. A human being is meant to be trained according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. Such a methodical life is described as tapasya. One can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge or Krishna consciousness by practicing austerity and celibacy, brahmacharya, by controlling the mind, by controlling the senses, by giving up one's possessions in charity, by being outwardly truthful, by keeping clean, and by practicing yoga asanas. However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a pure devotee, he can easily surpass all the practices for controlling the mind by the mystic yoga process, simply by following the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness, refraining from illicit sex, meditating, intoxication, and gambling, and by engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. This easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. First, one must.
Yeah, I think we can stop there, because this deals from the next paragraph. It's actually describing the first verse of the Enoi Vachovedam. But I thought this was very beautifully, put by Srila Prabhupada as to, how atonement is really not sufficient. And especially in the case of Vaishnava aparadha, as we see in this chapter, we need to do something more, not just chanting, and that alone may not help. We need to beg for forgiveness. Okay, so let's continue. And also the nectar of instruction, verse 3, as we see on the screen, Utsahan Nishchaya Dhairya Tat Karma Pravartanat Sangat Tyagat Sato Vrittehe Sadbhi Bhakti Prasiddhyati. So prasiddhyati is advances or becomes successful. Also in this purport, Srila Prabhupada very beautifully describes how one can actually cultivate or advance or become successful in this process of bhakti by cultivating these acting in favor of these 6 principles which are being discussed here, like being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to regulative principles, abandoning association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. So these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So this is another angle or another perspective on how we can cultivate devotional service. As this chapter is mainly dealing with that subject matter, I thought it is worthwhile to spend some time and see how we can practically follow in these footsteps and also cultivate our devotional practice. Moving on, we saw in the previous classes, we see how Madhvananda, he's still having so much of regret and remorse in his heart, and he goes and falls at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda and starts to glorify him. So there are some examples. He glorifies Lord Nityananda with some examples of how different devotees have glorified him. And then there are also some pastimes of how Lord Balarama vanquished some demons. So both kinds of glory, he discusses various pastimes like that. So anybody remember what is the first glorification he offers to Lord Nityananda? I just whited them out. I thought we'd do a small quiz kind of thing, try to rack our brains a little. And so the first glorification is of the Supreme Lord.
Pillar of Indrajit was one of them.
Sorry?
Oh, Lord Shah sleeps on him.
Yeah, the first verse, in this set series of glorification, he says is Lord Krishna actually sleeps on Ananta, right? So that's how he first starts off his glorification. And then the next one is, let's see what it reveals. Sages of Naimisharanya, how they, glorified Lord Balarama like that. And third, I'm not going into too many details as these have already been discussed. How Shiva and Parvati actually sing the glories of Ananta like that. And then these have already been discussed so recently. And then this was also discussed in one of the past classes, like how Maharaj Chitraketu is glorifies, and then how the sages, the Sanakadi Munis, they are glorifying him at the Naimisharanya. And then the demons, let's move on to the demons. How Madhya also lists the names of the demons whom Lord Balarama vanquished, like Vivida and Indrajit. We discussed these past times, so I'm not going into the details. Jarasandha, Rukmi during a game of chess, and then Romaharshana Sutta. Yeah, I think that's it. So these are all the pastimes we saw so far. And now we are actually moving on to today's pastime. So this was how when the wedding, this pastime is actually related to the wedding of Samba and Lakshmana. So Samba actually, he kidnaps Lakshmana, Duryodhana's daughter. And Duryodhana is very upset with this and he's not happy. And so we'll see what happens, how Srila Prabhupada actually describes this pastime. So we'll again just read from the Bhagavatam and try to reminisce this beautiful pastime. Am I sharing the screen, right? I am, right? I don't know where the thingy went. Oh, Krishna. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, Mataji, we can see the presentation.
I don't know, for some reason I'm not able to find my controls. Shoot. This is strange. I'm sorry about this. Okay, now I can see the control. Yeah, the marriage of Samba and Lakshmana. It's a very beautiful pastime to see how Lord Balarama gets very angry and how he comes up with a solution to make the Kurus agree to release Samba. So let me read a few things. Unless somebody is inspired to read, you can go ahead. Duryodhana, the son of Dhritarashtra, had a marriageable daughter by the name of Lakshmana. She was a very highly qualified girl of the Kuru dynasty, and many princes wanted to marry her. In such cases, the Swayamvara ceremony is held so that the girl may select her husband according to her own choice. In Lakshmana's Swayamvara assembly, when the girl was to select her husband, Samba appeared. He was a son of Krishna's by Jambavati, one of Lord Krishna's chief wives. This son, Samba, was so named because he was a pet child and always lived close to his mother. The name Samba indicates a son who is very much his mother's pet. Amba means mother and Sa means with. So this special name was given to him because he always remained with his mother. He was also known as Jambavati Sutta for the same reason. As previously explained, all the sons of Krishna were as qualified as their great father. Samba wanted Duryodhana's daughter, Lakshmana, although she was not inclined to have him. Therefore, Samba kidnapped Lakshmana by force from the Swayamvara assembly. So what happened was, let me paraphrase and not read too much of it. So because of this, all the members of the Kuru dynasty, Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, Vidura, and Arjuna thought it was an insult to their family tradition that, somebody could have kidnapped their daughter. So under the counsel of the elder members of the Kuru family, they decided to arrest the boy but not kill him. After consultation and receiving permission from the elder members of the Kuru dynasty, such as Bhishma and Dhritarashtra, 5 great warriors, Karna, Shala, Bhuri, Yajnaketu, and Duryodhana, the father of the girl, who were all Maharathas and who were guided by the great fighter by Bhishma Deva, attempted to arrest the boy Samba. Alone, he turned toward them and took his nice bow, posing exactly as a lion stands, adamant in the face of other animals. But then Samba fought them with great talent, with great difficulty, and after a severe fight, they deprived Samba of his chariot and were able to arrest him. Thus, the warriors of the Kuru dynasty accepted the great victory and took their daughter Lakshmana away from him. And there they entered the city of Hastinapura in great triumph. So when Narada Muni he heard of this, he took this news to the Yadu dynasty. With the permission of the head of the Yadu dynasty, King Ugrasena, they prepared to attack the capital city of the Kuru dynasty. Although Lord Balaram, so now comes Lord Balaram, how he intervenes and tries to make some kind of peace here. Although Lord Balaram knew very well that by slight provocation, people are prepared to fight with one another in the age of Kali, he did not like the idea that the 2 great dynasties, the Kuru dynasty and the Yadu dynasty, would fight amongst themselves, even though they were influenced by Kali Yuga. Instead of fighting with them, he wisely thought, let me go there and see the situation, and let me try to see if the fight can be settled by mutual understanding. Balarama's idea was that if the Kuru dynasty could be induced to release Samba along with his wife Lakshmana, then the fight could be avoided. He therefore immediately arranged for a nice chariot to go to Hastinapura, accompanied by learned priests and brahmanas. Let me cut short there. The leaders of the Kuru dynasty, especially Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, were very joyful when they saw Lord Balarama, because they knew that Lord Balarama was a great well-wisher of their family. And so they welcomed Uddhava and also welcomed Balarama. Lord Balarama, in a great voice and very patiently, submitted before them the following words for their consideration. My dear friends, this time I've come to you as a messenger with the order of the all-powerful King Ugrasena. Please therefore hear the order with attention and great care. Without wasting a single moment, please try to carry out the order. King Ugrasena knows very well that you warriors of the Kuru dynasty improperly fought with the pious Samba, who was alone and that with great difficulty, unrighteous tactics, you have arrested him. We have all heard this news, but we are not very much agitated because we are most intimately related to one another. I do not think we should disturb our good relationship. We should continue our friendship without any unnecessary fighting. Please, therefore, immediately release Samba and bring him along with his wife Lakshmana before me. So Lord Balarama, when he speaks like this, what did they think? The Kuru dynasty leaders, they did not actually appreciate his statements. On the contrary, they thought that the language and tone used by Balarama are simply abusive. And due to the influence of this age, it appears that the shoes befitting the feet want to rise to the top of the head, where the helmet is worn. So that's where they are placing the yadus. They're treating the yadus as see how they're comparing. The shoes befitting the feet want to rise to the top of the head, where the helmet is worn. So they think, the Kurus think that they are the helmet at the top of the head, and then the Yadus are the shoes. We are connected with the Yadu dynasty by marriage. And because of this, they have been given the chance to come live with us, dine with us, and sleep with us. Now they're taking advantage of these privileges. So you see how puffed up the thinking of the Kurus is. And how regrettable all these, the Yadu dynasty is now trying to act to go against those who have fed them so nicely. Their flourishing condition is due to our gifts and merciful behavior, and still they are so shameless that they're trying to order us. How regrettable are these activities? No one in the world can enjoy anything if the members of the Kuru dynasty like Bhishma, Drona, and Arjuna do not allow them to. So the amount of pride there, you see. Exactly as a lamb cannot enjoy life in the presence of a lion, without our desire, it is not even possible for the demigods in heaven to find enjoyment in life. So leave alone the Yadus. So like this, like this is what they are saying and they're thinking. The Kurus are thinking so high of themselves, and they put down, when Lord Balarama comes up with the request that Samba be released and he be married. So although Lord Balarama patiently heard the insulting words and simply observed the uncivil behavior, he was burning with anger and was thinking of retaliating with great vengeance. His bodily features became so much agitated that it was difficult for anyone to look at him. He laughed very loudly and said, "It is true that if a man becomes too puffed up because of his family, opulence, beauty, and material advancement, he no longer wants a peaceful life, but becomes belligerent towards all others. It is useless to give such a person good instruction for gentle behavior and a peaceful life." So like this, he says, I wanted to make a peaceful settlement despite the anger of all the members of the Yadu dynasty, including Lord Krishna himself. They were preparing to attack the whole kingdom of the Kuru dynasty, but I pacified them and took the trouble to come and settle the affair without any fighting. But then, they are tempting him to fight like that. And then he goes on to give more details. Lord Balarama goes on to give more details, and he says, all right, if your thinking is like that, you deserve to be taught a very good lesson. You have thought it wise that the royal insignias like whisk, fan, white umbrella, etc. are not to be used by the Yadu dynasty. Does that mean even Lord Krishna, the Lord of the whole creation and the husband of the goddess of fortune, cannot use this royal paraphernalia? The dust of Krishna's lotus feet is worshipped by all great demigods. The Ganges water inundates the whole world, and since it emanates from his lotus feet, its banks have turned into great places of pilgrimage. Like this, he goes on to glorify Lord Krishna and his consort, Lakshmi Devi, like that. And he said, how dare you try to insult, the Lord himself like this. While talking like this, Lord Balarama seemed so furious that he looked as if he could burn the whole cosmic creation to ashes. When all the members of the Kuru dynasty saw that the city was about to fall into the water of the Ganges, and when they heard the citizens howling in great anxiety, they immediately came to their senses and understood what was happening. Thus, without waiting another second, they brought forward their daughter Lakshmana. They also brought Samba, who had forcibly tried to take her away. keeping him in the forefront with Lakshmana at his back. All the members of the Kuru dynasty appeared before Lord Balarama with folded hands just to beg the pardon of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, using good sense, they said, O Lord Balarama, reservoir of all pleasures, you are the maintainer and supporter of the entire cosmic situation. Unfortunately, we were all unaware of your inconceivable potencies. Dear Lord, please consider us most foolish. Our intelligence was bewildered and not in order. Therefore, we have come before you to beg your pardon. Please excuse us. This caused a great tremor throughout Hastinapura, as if there had been an earthquake, and it seemed that the whole city would be dismantled. So, at the end of all this, after they asked for forgiveness like this, Lord Balarama immediately became softened, and he assured them that there was no cause for fear and that they need not worry. So very, very beautiful pastime of Lord Balarama. It's not discussed, many times when during Balaram Purnima, we hear so many pastimes of Lord Balarama, but this comes up rarely, not too often. So I thought let's, read this pastime in some detail, and it'll benefit us. So, yeah, moving on. Actually, I did not read the verses for today. Please forgive me for that. Let me go ahead and read this verse. So, today's verse, we start with 53. यानरापमाना करी राजा दुर्योधना सवंशते प्राण गेला नाहिला रक्षाना दैवयोगे चिला तथा महाभक्त गणा तांड्र सब जानी लेना तो मारा कारण कुंती भीष्म युधिष्ठिर विदुर अर्जुन तासा बर वाक्य पूरा पायले ना पुनः. English translation 53 to 55. King Duryodhana and his dynasty were almost destroyed for insulting you. By the arrangement of providence, great devotees like Kunti, Bhishma, Yudhishthira, Vidura, and Arjuna, who all understood your desire, were present there. The city of Hastinapura was saved by their words of solace. Commentary by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura. During the Swayamvara of Lakshmana, the daughter of Duryodhana, Samba, the son of Jambavati, kidnapped Lakshmana from the Swayamvara. As a result, King Duryodhana felt insulted. So after consulting with the elderly Kauravas, he chased and fought with Samba. After defeating Samba, he arrested him and brought him to Hastinapura. When the Yadus heard this news from Narada Muni and prepared to fight the Kauravas, Lord Baladeva, who wanted to avoid unnecessary fighting, personally went to Hastinapura surrounded by family elders and brahmanas and sent Uddhava ahead to find out Dhritarashtra's intention. On hearing about the arrival of Sri Balarama, they came before him with various ingredients, and after properly worshipping him, Baladeva ordered them to return Samba. Since the Kauravas rejected the order of Baladeva and disrespected the Yadavas, in order to properly teach them a lesson, Sri Baladeva pulled Hastinapura with the tip of his plough for the purpose of immersing it in the Ganges. Having no alternative, the Kauravas surrendered to Baladeva. When they returned Samba with Lakshmana and various gifts, Baladeva gave them assurance that no harm would be done and returned to Dwarka. So this is taken from the Bhagavatam. We just read some more details of this. Let's move on to the next verse. Yadra apamana matra jivanera nasha muni darunera kono lokeha bevasa. By insulting you, one's life is finished. So where will a most sinful person like me go? The word daruna refers to a most proud, merciless atheist. So we discussed few things regarding this. Okay. बलिते बलिते प्रेमे भासये मधाई वक्षे दिया श्री चरण पदिला तथाई. While offering prayers in this way, Madhai floated in an ocean of love. He fell down and took the Lord's feet to his chest. So we see how he's falling at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. ये चरण धरि लेना याई कबु नाशा पति तेरा त्राण लगी आहारा प्रकाशा. one will never be destroyed if he takes shelter of these lotus feet, which manifest to deliver the fallen souls. So the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are so soothing, and Lord Nityananda is so merciful and so compassionate that even when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was angry, he somehow placated, or he somehow appeased Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to actually forgive these two great sinners and give them the love of Godhead. So Lord Nityananda is so, so merciful. And I thought in this regard, we can do this, bhajan, which glorifies the beautiful, cooling lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Can you all see my screen? Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chanda Shushitala?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
You can see, yeah. So we will try to sing and glorify Lord Nityananda's lotus feet and try to get shelter of his lotus feet. So this bhajan is by Narottam Das Thakura, and it's from the album Prarthana. Yeah, please forgive me. My voice is not all that great today, but let me try to sing as best as I can. Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Ye Chaya Jagat Jura Ye Chaya Jagat Jura He no nita bine bha Radha Krishna pai tena He no nita bine bha Radha Krishna pai tena Dridha kori dharo nitai pa दृढकुरि धरो नितपा से संबंध नाही जा पृथा जन्म गेलोता से पशु बोरो दुराचार से पशु बोरो दुराचार निताय ना बोलिलो मुखे माजिलो संसारा सुखे निताय ना बोलिलो मुखे माजिलो संसारा सुखे विद्याकुले किरोरी बेता विद्याकुले की कोरी बेता अहंकारे मता होया नितय पद पशरिया असत्य रे सत्या कोरी मानी असत्य रे सत्या कोरी मानी निताय करुणा दे ब्रजे राधा कृष्ण पादे निताय करुणा दे ब्रजे राधा कृष्ण पादे दारो निताय चरण दुखानी दारुणिता चरण दुखानी निताय चरण सत्या ताहरा सेवक नित्या निताय पादा सदा कोरोआ निताय पाद सदा कोरोआता नरोत्तम बोरो दुखी निताय मोरे कोरो सुखी राखो रांगा चरणिरपा राखो रांगा चरणिरपा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे जय नित्यानंद राम की जय जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय जय श्रीला नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर की जय जय श्रीला चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय पंचतत्व की जय Mataji, would anybody like to take turns to read the translation, please?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Can I,
Mataji.
Mataji?
Can I read the first one?
The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight not only of one but of millions of moons. If the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda.
Jai.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
Thank
Mataji. Yeah, anybody want to go next, please?
Anyone who has not established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu is understood to have spoiled his valuable human birth. Such a human being is actually an uncontrolled animal because he never uttered the holy name of Lord Nityananda. He has become merged into so-called material happiness. What can his useless education and family tradition do to help him?
Anybody else want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can read the third one, Mataji.
Please go ahead.
Being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is Nityananda? What can he do for me? I don't care. The result is that he is accepting something false to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful towards you, towards you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Is there anybody else who wants to read, or I can go ahead and read the fourth one? The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact. One who engages in transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottama Dasa is very unhappy. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. Jai. Jai Narottama Das Thakur ki Jai. So yeah, I think I'll take a pause here unless, I was thinking maybe, do we want to watch the 2-minute video of Jayapatak Swami Maharaj? Do you think it's a good time or?
Yes. I'll just stop live. That way we don't get into copyright issues. I'm stopping live for now, but the recording will go on. Okay.
Yeah, let me try to bring it up.